What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kirsten Deion, KirstenDeion on all social media platforms. And you are tuned into I'll Grab the Wine. I'll Grab the Wine is a show for the girls and the gals who sometimes need a little wine to say what's on their mind. Here's what it looks like when you celebrate and empower the experience of Black womanhood. Duplicated but never replicated, this is I'll Grab the Wine. Before we get started though, before we get it cracking, make sure you thumbs up this content. That lets me know that you like what we got going on over here, okay? Hello from all of the streaming platforms. Be sure to download this episode today. Thank you. Okay, looky. So glad to be here. So happy to have you all here. Shout out to everybody who came here for my shorts. This is so exciting. YouTube is like a really, it's a changing platform and for the better, honestly. So shout out to YouTube because baby, let me tell you, once upon a time, it was really hard to drive traffic just normally. But these shorts, love a short, darling. Okay. Well, if you're new here, I have a son. 7 years later, and it's still kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around it. But yeah, I got a son. And I got pregnant like when I was 19. I had just turned 20, like around that time, and I had my baby at 20. So I wasn't really a teen mom, but I for dang sure was a young mom. Definitely a young mom. And I'll be honest, it hasn't been the easiest journey, but it surely has been rewarding, I must say, darling. Love being a mom. All the titles that I have, mom is the coolest, I will say. But in this episode, I'll be talking about a gang that I'm in, and it's the Young Mommy Gang, okay? So if you're a mom that is young, I'm talking about you had your baby, you had your baby young, under 20, under 21, definitely young mommy, giving young mommy vibe. And so if you're a young mom, you're in a gang, so put a wine glass in the comments for all my young moms. Just want to see y'all out there. And I'm going to talk about my experience as a young mom. So here we go. I'll grab the wine. So I'll tell you, I guess we have to go back. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to me actually being pregnant. I kind of wanted to start off in the hospital, but I actually want to start off to actually being pregnant. Very interesting, darling. Very interesting. So when I was pregnant, I just remember, like, specifically how, first of all, I was young. I put pictures in so you can tell, like, I was freaking 20. And I just remember how people would look at me. Like, it's so crazy because skin folk were the ones that looked at me the craziest. And it was different cultures that were way more like inviting of the idea, that I was a young parent. Like it was different cultures that kind of, when they saw me, it wasn't like this preconceived notion. It was more like, oh, this is just a pregnant lady, like, as opposed to, my skin folk who were just like, especially because around that time I was traveling with my mom a lot. And honestly, you not even knowing my story, like, really, I'm depressed over here, girl, because I am a young mom and I'm a single parent before my baby even gets here. So you don't even know what I have going on to be judging me. But here we are. And so that was a really unique experience. I'm glad that even though I was really depressed, if I'm being honest, if I'm being transparent, because like I said, we're not going to glaze over the fact that I was a single parent before I even became a parent. And so it was really difficult, even though I had that going on in the back of my head. I'm just so thankful that I never really cared about what people thought about me being pregnant and young. Like, I knew I was a young parent, but I also knew I was on my shit. Like, even though I had no degree or anything like that, I knew for a fact I was on it about just making sure I was in the loop and I knew. So I would do a lot of readings back then. I did a lot of YouTube videos. I went to so many free birthing resources, just birthing seminars in general. Like, I was really involved in knowing, what it like birth and having a kid. Like, I just like intrinsically, I never wanted to do wrong by my baby ever. Like, I never wanted to do that. So I just did a lot of studying. And obviously you won't see that from the outside, but baby, you can't judge me because I know what I'm doing. I'm doing what I gotta do. You got all these children over here, and one of them can't even tie their shoe. They don't even know their ABCs, but you over here worried about me. Am I on board? Please. Business, get you some. Thank you. Anyways, so that was pretty much my my pregnancy experience, like overall. Pregnancy in general, I'll talk about a little bit later, but kind of in the young mom lens, like, you got your stares or whatever, but for the most part, I just stayed positive until we got to L&D, labor and delivery. My God. So I'm in L&D, and baby, every time there was this nurse that every time she came in the room, she looked into my mama to answer questions. Sweetie, I'm right here. It's me. The person you're looking for is me. I'm the men's prepper you're looking for. MS, not MRS. When you come in here and you're asking about things about me, ask me. Don't ask my mom. She doesn't have the answers. I'm sorry. And my doula's on the way. Actually, since you got your degree and you know everything, my doula's on the way. So, and even to know about a doula, that means you have to be doing your research. And then even when you have a doula, that means you have an advanced directive, which means that I'm in tune with what I want to do here, girl. And you over here trying to ask my mama, sweetie, ask me. I'm the person that's breathing through all of these contractions. I'm the person that you haven't given medicine to in 13 hours because I don't need it, because I'm very well prepared for giving birth. Because that's not my mama's doing. That's me. I'm off it. I'm taking a breather. But it was just really weird. It was really weird to have a nurse come in and ask my mom questions about me. And it kind of felt like she was just like, I wasn't capable of making my own decisions. And if I was capable of decisions, they weren't good decisions, because if I made good decisions, I would not be pregnant right now. Girl, boo. Like, please. But I had a black doctor, and I'm so glad that I had a black doctor all the way up until delivery, because unbeknownst to me, like, this was new to me, so news to anybody that's about to have a baby. So your doctor may or may not be on call when you're delivering your baby. So get to know everybody in your doctor's office, because they might be in your kitty meow meow the day your baby's born and not your doctor. So yeah, I had no idea of that. The more you know, girl. So, my doctor was black. The person who took care of me was black. And I'm so glad that I had a black doctor, because she listened to all of my concerns before baby got here. Baby gets here, and I'm in the hospital. And, I'm in labor and delivery. Let's talk about that. The actual labor and delivery. Same nurse that's asking my mom questions every 5 seconds. She noticed that when I'm pushing, that I'm getting a fever. And, I'm like, fever, I'm concerned, because I'm not supposed to be having a fever right now. And she's like, oh, everything's fine. Everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess everything's okay. Looking at my doula, asking my doula, like, is everything okay? My doula says, do what I feel like I need to do. And so I started listening to my doula, and I did what I felt like I need to do. And I pushed when I felt like I wanted to push, and I didn't push when I felt like I didn't want to push. So, and that makes nurses agitated, blah, blah, blah. Girl, who cares? My baby got here safely, but comma. So I'm in the recovery room, and I'm just like, girl, I don't think I feel right. And they were like, oh, we'll give you some Tylenol. I'll give you some Tylenol. Okay, girl. So I'm taking Tylenol, and then they discharged me from the hospital, because obviously Tylenol helps suppress fevers. So I'm taking Tylenol around the clock, and I'm good to go. I leave, I get home. I'm not taking Tylenol anymore. The moment I get home, I don't feel good. I tell my mom, I'm like, hey, girl, I don't feel right. Something's not right with me. I tell my dad. He's like, okay, what do you need us to do? I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of feel funny. Skip. Y'all, all all of a sudden, I feel this sharp pain in my back, and I just scream. Like, I don't just like, I like, like, it was bad. And I called my doctor then. I said, something's wrong with me. And she said, get here right now. I get there right now. Find out I have endometriosis. So glad I had a black doctor, because I feel like sometimes when, black women's mortality rate is that of a third world countries in America. Let that sink in. Moving forward. So I'm glad I had somebody that believed me when I said something was wrong. I come in, she says, you have postpartum endometriosis. You're going to the hospital now. So I went to the hospital, stayed in the hospital for almost a week. So that means I am a woman with a newborn baby, and I don't see my baby because they couldn't even get me a floor on L&D, which is obviously the safest place for a baby to be, because sickness doesn't reside there. I have to go on a floor where there are sick patients. I don't want my newborn there. But my parents did the best they could bringing my baby to come see me, but also I'm sick. So it's not like I could just be dealing with my child like that. So thanks to somebody, I was really apart from my baby. And that was really difficult. And I had already felt some type of way, just feeling like as a single parent before I even had a baby that I would already be leaning on my parents too much. And it just set the ground for me in my head. It set the ground for a rocky relationship, because for the first few days of my child's life, I wasn't even the caretaker. And that was really difficult for me, especially as a young parent. And, as much as I like to laugh and joke about it and just be like, ha ha he he, that really hurt my feelings. I was pumping. I was literally pumping to take home to my baby. I couldn't, I wasn't breastfeeding, for the first few days. So that really hurt. But such is life. And we just move forward and we lived to see another day. And after I made it through that, I just kind of made it my mission to advocate for myself a lot more in general. That experience made me find my voice, because I just decided from then on, nobody was going to little girl me about how I felt. Nobody was going to little girl me about my baby, because I took time to be well informed. And because I take time to be well informed and I know myself, I just knew myself. And because I knew myself, I was like, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey. What not gonna do is make me feel like I'm not validated. So from then on, I just decided, baby, I vowed to myself that I would never let anybody silence me ever again. And for better or worse, Chad, I don't know. So I guess now we'll kind of just move forward to Noah's early years. So 3 months. Was it 3 months? 3 months. 3 months after having a baby. I had already been applying to school while I was pregnant with Noah. So 3 months postpartum, I'm in a nursing program. Yep, I was in nursing. And I realized very quickly that maybe women who just had babies, especially women who were depressed before they had a baby and are dang sure depressed after they have a baby, probably shouldn't be in nursing. And if they are in nursing, it probably shouldn't be right after the baby. Because when I say I was stressed and depressed, not lying to you, it was such a rough part of my life. And I just remember I lost so much weight, y'all. I lost so much weight. I lost so much hair. Sidebar. You're going to lose hair after you have a baby. If you didn't know that, you'll lose hair after having a baby. And it's not like, oh, I lost 1 or 2 strands. It's like, am I undergoing chemotherapy? My hair is falling out. Y'all, my hair was falling out so bad. I was just like, I was so stunned. And then on top of that, I was depressed. So the last thing I needed was my daggum hair to fall out. So I cut it off. I love it. That's it. And I had a fro that was this long. That's it. But to be honest, that wasn't really news for me. It was just kind of, I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna do it well. But yeah, so I'm in nursing school, losing hair, literally. I'm stressed and depressed. I'm having to go to school every day. I'm having to study every day like nothing is wrong. I'll be honest with you, it was such a difficult time. It was so difficult trying to make sure that I'm doing assignments to the best of my abilities, trying to make sure that I'm studying, trying to make sure that I'm loving on my baby. Sometimes there were times that I was reading my book with Noah on my chest and my book on the side of me. Like, there were times that I took Noah on campus, and that's when I met some of the most incredible, loving and caring professors that would take my baby and just love on my baby like he was theirs. And it was something. It was something. I am so glad that I had community in those times. Like, I can't say that enough. I was glad I had my parents. I was glad I had my grandma. I was glad I had my aunties, because I could not have done it without them. They were just so helpful, like being present for my baby. I was glad I had my friend Chris. Chris was so amazing. Chris would get off of work. Mind you, let's talk about Chris real quick. Chris is younger than me, okay? Chris is younger than me, and he's not my boyfriend. He's my friend. And he would get off work, come to my house, watch Noah, and go home. So he would just watch Noah so I could do my assignments, and then he'd go home. Or he'd watch Noah so I could clean. Or like, he was such a stand-in without there being any type of other relation. Like, I really appreciated that, because that's what community is about. Sometimes community is genderless. Sometimes community is just people who actually want the best for you. And Chris wanted the best for me, so I'm thankful for Chris. I'm thankful for once I left nursing school, because I did leave nursing school, y'all. It was wearing me down. I just remember that I was in clinicals by this time, and I think I'm like 5 months postpartum, 5 or 6 months postpartum. I don't know. I'm postpartum though, for sure. And so I'm going through it. I had this one favorite patient. And I just remember that one day I left on a Friday. I think I left on like a Friday or close to the weekend. I can't remember. I left, baby. I came back and they told me my patient was deceased. Baby, when I tell you, I looked to my left, I looked to my right, and I said, this ain't the life for me. And I left. I didn't come back. I could not handle it. I was taking my work home. I loved my patients. I lost the patient, and it wasn't on my watch, but I lost him. And I was just like, I can't do this. This ain't for me right now. Not right now. And I had this amazing professor. Her name was J. Jones. I'll never forget her. So while I'm in nursing school, before that even happened, she was like, she was my communications teacher, and she told me, I did this project, and she told me, she said, you need to tell your parents you're not going to help people like this. And I said, huh? She said, you don't need to be in nursing school. I'm telling you, you're not going to help people like this. There's a different way you're going to help people. I believe you'll help people, but it ain't going to be like this. And I was like, but I like, this is what I'm supposed to do. She said, no, it's not. And whenever you're ready to answer your calling, I'm here to help you. Gave me her number, and we've been in connections ever since. Now she's Dr. Jones. And it has been an amazing ride, and she definitely has helped me in so many things to date. But that was just a sidebar. Let's get back on track. So Chris was very helpful. Obviously, Dr. Jones was very helpful. I had other professors too. I had this professor. Her name was I think her name was Dr. Jackson. I can't remember if she had her doctorate or not, but I'll still call her Dr. Jackson. I had Dr. Jackson. This is when I left. By the time I left, because I did leave that nursing school, Dr. Jackson was so helpful. She, one time we had like a midterm, and I could not. I had to have Noah. Like, my dad was working, my mom was working, so I had to have Noah, and she just held him the whole midterm. She did. And I appreciate that, and I'll never forget that as long as I'm Black. Then I had this other professor. Her name was Professor Arthur. And I remember that I told her I had a son, and she said she had a son and they were around the same age. And she just gave me like a whole bunch of baby stuff for my baby. And I just really, really, really appreciated it. I appreciated having community again. Like, that was just, in that time, that's what I needed. And God knew what I needed, and he gave me so many amazing people to navigate life. Because I was a young parent, and I did not know how much of yourself you give in parenting, especially as a single parent. Having somebody, to help you that helped create a child is one thing, but not having them is tremendously difficult, because I just felt a lot of guilt. I felt so much guilt I felt like I was a burden to all the people who wanted to help me, because I needed their help. And I just wish I'd never felt like that. But I did. And I felt like that more so because, again, me and Noah were nobody else's responsibility. Like, especially Noah. Noah was nobody's responsibility but my own, because I created him. Mine and the person who helped create him. And it just felt like people was taking on responsibilities that were not theirs. And, God is good that I've been freed from that. And I hope that anybody else struggling with that and who have people that want to help them, that you're free from that. Like, release yourself from that notion that nobody who is helping you don't want to help you. Like, if they're helping you, they want to help you. You're not being a burden. You're being a human, and you need a shoulder. You need somebody to help you. So just be thankful. Every time you think that you're, every time that it crosses your mind that I'm being a burden, just say thank you. Like, instead of saying I'm being a burden, tell that person thank you, and then tell yourself, you know what? I'm human and I need help. And this is somebody who wants to help me. I'm human, I need help, and this is somebody that wants to help me. Because because of how many times I've made myself feel like I was a burden to people who wanted to help me, there are days that I still struggle with that. 7 years in the game, still struggle with that. So free yourself of that right now. Just tell yourself the same thing over and over and over. This person is here because they want to help me, and I'm going to let them help me. They want to, and I'm going to let them. Free yourself from that, for real, for real. I think really the part that I really want to talk about being a young mom and early in my young mom journey is how that affected me and dating. Y'all, if I'm being transparent, a lot of my self-thoughts were very negative. I thought that I had a kid and nobody's gonna want me, and I'm a baby mama. He got me. Oh God. Oh God. I felt like he got me. And now I'm a baby mama. I'm ghetto. I'm a baby mama. One thing about me, I know how to make sure a battery runs low. My Lord. Anyways, we back. So, I'm a baby mom. And, I already knew that there was a negative stigma attached to that. And so now there's this negative stigma that I have over myself, that honestly I made up myself. And then, now I'm taking that into dating and what I'm finding. And instead of putting in my head, you're a quality person that got with somebody before who was not quality and who didn't align with your values, you had a baby, and now you're moving forward. Instead of thinking like that, I thought, my life is over, my life is ruined, I'll never be with anybody else, because who's gonna love me and my son? That's just way too much. They can't love me and my son. which was a terrible, terrible thing to tell yourself as you're healing and really forgiving yourself in general. Like, I'm forgiving myself for letting this happen. And then also, like, I'm trying to forgive myself for letting this happen, but I'm also telling myself all of this negative stuff about me and how I'll never find love. Girl. Let me tell you something. Sidebar. Anybody who's struggling with that today, if you are a mom today, right now, it doesn't matter, and you're single, there is somebody that is out there who's ready to love you and your child or your children. There is somebody for everybody. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of love. And you're worthy of the love that you want. Okay, back to the program. So here I am, all young and just thinking, oh my God, nobody's going to want me and I'm not attractive, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to post pictures of what I looked like postpartum. Because if I could be that size again, do you hear me? I'd be causing havoc. When I had the body, I was sad I had the body. Now I don't have the body. I'm sad I don't have the body. But ain't that how it go? But yeah, so just when I really sit back and think about it, I realize how vulnerable I was to anybody else. Just because I didn't have that sense of self-love, and I was doing so much negative self-talk back then. And so I just started talking to this one guy, and oh my God, when I tell you it was roller coaster. Like, anybody who is a young parent right now, if you're listening to this and you found this, God is so good that you found this. I'm telling you right now, sis, you don't need to be in a relationship. You don't. Like, just love on yourself. Like, love yourself. I promise you. Once you start loving yourself, you'll see it. You'll see yourself through a different lens, and you'll know that you're worthy of the love that you deserve. A lot of the battle that I had was feeling unworthy. Just a lot of unworthiness, when really I'm that girl. I didn't feel like it, but I was that girl, and I've been that girl, and I'm still that girl. I'm gonna always be that girl. Hello? This is only news to you. But yeah, so that's kind of what I really struggle with, like post Noah and really getting into school. I was really worried that, will I ever find love, and will anybody ever love me and my child? I also found myself, as Noah got older, now he's like 4 to 6 years old, we did all the fun things, the little cute things when he was little, all of that stuff. And I'm starting to love myself. I'm starting to grow into myself. I'm starting to come into me. And also, I've earned a little degree, not just one but two, like 4 to 6. No, I got a degree. I got my associates and I got my bachelor's. So where I did feel insignificant there, or unworthy there, like I had it now, and I felt like something now. You know what I'm saying? And I was going to Noah's school. And, I told you that before that I'd never be silenced again. And I just kind of, outside of silence, there was another feeling that I started feeling. I started feeling like people was trying to little girl me. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So, even though I feel like that's not going to work, and I feel like people would little girl me just because I was a younger parent. I mean, that's my reality. It's still my reality. It doesn't. And what's crazy? Sidebar. When you have a kid young and your kid gets in school, until you have another kid at an older age, of the first kid that you had young, of that age group, like children, you'll still be the young parent. So you'll still look different from the parents that are like parents. Does that make sense? I sound spacey. Let me explain. So, even though now I'm 28, I'm still 28 amongst like late 30 people. Like 28 though, older adult, still younger than everybody else. I hope that clarified. Like, even though you're an older parent, you're still a young parent. Like, that's what I mean. Anyways, so I'm in this little pool of like, I'm in the sea of my own, really, because all the parents that are around me, I'm going to all the back to school stuff and blah blah blah. Like I just remember this one time. This awful lady. I was at my son's kindergarten graduation. Mind you, I had just graduated. And I'll insert the picture because, unbeknownst to me, like that picture really alluded to something else. I had on red and blue and I ended up going to SMU like right after I took that picture, which is so crazy and God is so good in that way. But went to my son's kindergarten graduation, feeling good about myself. And the outfit that I had on, it was color blocked and it was cropped, but it was so cute and it looked like chic but upscale. And the shirt was cropped, but it wasn't like, but it was cropped. And there's this older woman that was on campus that looked me up and down and said, "These young parents come up here dressed any kind of way." She acted like I had my kitty meow meow out for sale. I'm going to put the picture in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me move a little bit. Like, this right here is what I had on. She acted like I was selling kitty meow meow on the side. When I say I be exercising restraint, because, baby, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Why are you talking to me like that? My biggest thing... So many sidebars this episode, but my biggest thing is for anybody, my friends, my family, anybody. I will always be an avenger for anybody who is being treated unjustly, because you don't know what people went through to be here right now. You don't know what people went through and got through to be in front of you right now. You don't know. You don't even know what they're battling right now. Leave people alone. Leave folks alone. You don't know how close somebody is to their breaking point. And because you don't know that, I'm going to stick up for whomever is being treated unfairly, because it's not right. And I don't care how old you are. I am a mirror. I am very okay with reciprocity. If you do something to somebody else, I am happy to do it to you, because you don't know what people go through. You don't. Stop being miserable. Smell the roses. Touch grass. Be nice. Be kind. It's free. It's free. But I'm off of it. I'm off of it. So this nasty lady, she looks me up and down and said, "You young moms do anything." And I asked with restraint and poise, because I felt like in that moment she wanted me to be exactly who she thought me to be. But I just said, "I'm so proud of my baby." Because I could have met you with your energy and it would have been fine, but that was exactly what you were expecting of me, and that's not even who I am. See, I vibrate a little bit higher than most, so I don't even have to get on everybody else's level, because I'm wasting energy doing that. God, energy is not as expendable as it was once before. Not expendable. Can't waste it on you. Sorry. But I remember that, just being a young parent, you know what I'm saying? And then actually looking around in that setting and just noticing that, dang, like, you kind of think that you're the young parent, and then you start looking around and you're like, yep, definitely one of the youngest here, amongst the youngest here. And so it was just really interesting. And, honestly, I will, if I'm being 100% honest, I would tell myself all the time in these settings, I have nothing to prove to these people. I do right by my baby. And it's like, you can see it through my baby. Like, my baby is always a top scholar. He's always scoring high on everything. every time consistently. So that means I'm present. That means I do what I'm supposed to do. That means that, I'm very invested in his learning. I'm invested in his education. I'm invested in his vocabulary. I'm invested in the things that he watches. And I'm invested in his feelings. Like, my baby is empathic at 7. Like, he can read and understand emotions because it's important to me that he knows how to address emotions, and not just his but other people's, so that he can navigate himself or govern himself in a way that is kind and caring and acknowledging of others. And this is what I do, young and all. And so it's like, even though I tell myself like I'm doing the right thing for my baby, not gonna lie, y'all, there are times that I struggle with, I don't have anything to prove but doing stuff to prove myself. And this is a thing that I deal with kind of inside and outside of my son. Like, I don't have nothing to prove to y'all, but I'm kind of trying to prove something. And I'm not gonna lie, when I went and applied for my master's, at first, not gonna lie, I just kept telling myself, I don't have nothing to prove, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, I was saying that stuff, but I didn't mean it. I definitely did it because I wanted to start telling people that I had my master's. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I was in the rooms with like my son's peers and their parents, because I'm not gonna lie, I felt small. I did. And it was all because the girl that got pregnant at 20 didn't have an education. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have, I was without so much, no job, no money, no income, no degree, no nothing. And so I suffered from without. I suffered from being without of so many things that by the time I started, getting the accolades, I was very ego invested. And SMU was a humbling experience. And I'll talk about it in an episode, but it was a very humbling experience. So much to the point that if you don't get on my LinkedIn, I won't tell if you won't. Baby, I am who I am with or without a degree. I am who I am amongst the oldest and amongst the youngest. Back then, I kept telling myself I didn't have anything to prove, and I never believed it because I was fighting tooth and nail to prove a point. But now I'm in a space of where, you know what? I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And that's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm so glad to be in this space, especially as a younger mother, just because it was exhausting. It was very tiring operating in a space that, I didn't belong in anyways. I was trying to prove stuff to people who could give a hoot less. And for another matter, like, that wasn't even trying to help. So what do I have to prove to you? So I'm glad that I'm in this space of, you know what? I'm just going to do the best I can with what I have. And whatever that looks like, it's going to be okay. And everybody's going to have to accept it. So, I'm just I'm glad to have moved from that. And from the sense of self, the sense of identity, I started to date like I had a new sense of identity. And because I started dating like I had a new sense of identity, it started showing, and my baby was a little bit more curious. He started realizing I was dating, to be honest with you. He started noticing that I was on the phone a little bit more. He started noticing it wasn't like my mom or my dad's voice, and that it was a male's voice. And, he was a little bit more invested, a little bit more curious. And boys are so funny, because one thing about boys, they don't care who you are. You come too close to their mama, it's not good for you. I remember the first time that, Noah was a little bit older and my brother came and visited us, because my brother lives in Austin and I'm in Dallas. And my son looked at my brother like, you don't need to touch my mama. You really don't even need to get that close to her. I don't know you like that. But they had been playing together the whole time. But the moment my brother tried to give me a hug, I don't really know you like that, buddy. Back the heck up. And it was, it's just so funny. And so for him to start realizing that I'm dating somebody, and it's so funny just that I really tried to make it seem like I wasn't dating anybody in front of my son. Like, I would expose my son to some suitors, not all of them, just to see like if I liked the vibe that we had. But for the most part, my son was very sheltered, and I only dated two people seriously. I've only dated two people seriously in the time that I've had Noah. So, but it was very different that my son knew that, I was talking to people and that I started dating. And honestly, it'd be your own kids. And this story that I'm about to tell is the reason why I say you ain't mean nobody ever. I don't even want to talk on the phone till you go to sleep. So around this time, listen. I told you I was dating. I did. I was dating. And let me describe what dating is. Dating is when you get to know multiple people. You don't lock in. I wasn't exclusively dating. I was dating. I'm dating. So I'm dating some people. So I'm talking on one phone. Hey. My baby, because he's a reader. And sometimes he has my phone so he can read the names that come on the phone. He had answered the phone for one guy, and they gave it to me. The other guy called. At that time, I liked him a little bit more. I switched the line. Noah comes to the phone. Hey, such and such. Was you gonna come over a little later? Because I wanted to go with my Gigi and Papa. Huh? What do you mean? I couldn't believe it. My son got me caught up, and I said, you know what? He was saying anything. He ain't saying anything. No, he was telling the truth. And that's when I realized, don't talk on the phone until he's asleep. Don't do anything around him, because he's going to tell on you. He's a snitch. He is the ops, and reprimand him. Get him out of here. But yeah, it was very interesting around that time. And still to this day, now it's a little bit different. I feel like I get bullied a lot more in the dating realm. I think y'all saw the Dutch Bros thing. Yeah. And if you haven't seen the Dutch Bros, I'll attach it right up here. Now he bullies me about dating because I'm so secretive, because he done me dirt. He think I don't talk to nobody. So there's that. But like I said, going back to, just my son being who he is, and just being in an environment where I feel like sometimes I'm made to feel like I'm insignificant, like I'm just a young parent, so I'm really ostracized. I'm so glad that my son is a product of love, and he's a product of character, because oddly enough, no matter how anybody treats me, anybody that encounters my baby just has to tell me how sweet he is, or how awesome he is, or how they compliment him so heavily, just on everything. And young or not, it's attributed to how badly it meant to me for him to have emotional intelligence. So I'm reading Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goldman. And honestly, EI can take you so much further than just intelligence alone. There are so many smart people, but they're smart and terrible leaders. They're smart and terrible people because they get so caught up in just being smart that they forget to be human. And so I'm glad that as free as I am as a parent, I give him space to explore and be who he is, and teach him about himself and feelings. Like, at the end of the day, I tell myself this is that he's a human, and I'm not raising a kid, I'm raising an adult. And so with that being the basis of how I raise him, we do a lot of talk about emotions, and I just don't use like small emotions words like angry or sad. Like, I tell him that, when I'm doing something, or like, when I start to get agitated because I'm doing something and he's asking me stuff, I'm saying like I'm anxious, I'm stressed. Like, I describe to him the actual emotion so he can like connect it in his head. And so anytime that he feels the same way, he's able to relay that to me. And it's not a guessing game. Like, I don't ever want my son to guess emotions. I want him to be able to identify emotions and relate to me emotions, because there will come a time where I need him to read my emotions and act accordingly. And there'll be a time that I need to read his emotions and act accordingly and support him in a great way, because we have each other, you know what I'm saying? So we have to govern ourselves accordingly. And so I'm just really glad that we use correct terms for emotions. And we be talking, me and my baby. My son talk. Sometimes there's a lot of backlash, because they're just like, oh, he's back talking. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. I'm sorry your mom beat the brakes off your ass. And that's why you're so scared to move, that you have analysis paralysis, and that you don't do things because of fear of being reprimanded. That's a trauma that was created when your mom beat your ass. I'm not going to do that to my child, because I want my child to be fearless. And if you have a problem with that, no problem. Everybody raise their kids how they raise their kids. You take that over there, because right here and what we operate in grace and mercy. We operate in communication. We talk. When you're doing something I don't like, I say I don't like that. And I say why I don't like that. And I give you an opportunity to correct it. I don't whoop his ass, because ain't nobody gonna whoop my ass. And if somebody try to whoop my ass, it's gonna be their ass. And if somebody try to touch him, it's up, because I don't touch him. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't use violence, because violence only begets violence. And so I don't want my son to be a violent person. I want him to be a balanced person that can use his words and not his hands. The tongue is also a sword. Just saying. So yeah, we use words, and I don't mind losing relationships over how I govern myself and my child. If you beat your kid, that's fine. You will hear from me if you do it in front of me. But other than that, as long as what you got going on don't disrupt what I got going on, it's gonna be okay. Because it's difficult for me to understand how you tell me that I have such a well-balanced child and that I have an extremely disciplined child without hitting him. Whereas anytime he makes a mistake, you think I should hit him. Yeah. Well, overall, if I had to do it all, excuse me. Overall, if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't take it back. I'm glad I'm a young parent. I'm just glad. Like, I'm happy. I'm thankful. I feel like two things can't live in the same house, you know? I can't be filled with regret that I had my son and also be thankful that I have my son, you know? So I've learned to forgive myself for, you know, the decision of whom I forgive myself for how my son's conception happened. But I'm so thankful. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that I have my son and I have a beautiful life. I've experienced so many different things. I've lived so many lives that I get to share with other people, you know? I think that's the really beautiful thing about all of this, is that when I was going through it, I was really sad. But now that I'm, you know, getting through it, I'm just like, everything happened for a reason. I give my friends so much sound advice, not from the air, but from experience. And that's so valuable to me. It's so valuable to me. And I'm thankful that I got to have a community and I got to experience community, because a lot of people don't get to experience that. Overall, it's just the spirit of gratitude, and I wouldn't change it. I'd say outside of me, like, my parents are glad to be grandparents, and they're glad to be the grandparents that they are. Okay, so let's do this timeline. So my mom had me at 28, and my dad was in his 30s. I had my son at 20, so they were relatively, like, they were actually, when I think about like grandparents, they were like grandparent age, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to if I had a child now, where my dad would be 60, like the things that he does now with Noah is like very, like, he's not the same grandpa he was 7 years ago, you know what I'm saying? And he'd be just starting over. So in one way, I'm really glad that my son gets to experience his grandparents like this and not older. So I'm glad I had him young, because their experience is different as well. And, you know, taking it a step further, I'm glad that he got to experience his great-grandparents. Like my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, she kept him for the early years of his life. And she still can, you know, go with him and they have conversations. And like, his great-grandparent is truly in his life, as opposed to mine, where, you know, they transitioned, like, and they transitioned young, like very early for me. My great-grandparents, I think I was like 4 when my great-grandparents transitioned. So, you know, I really didn't even have a relationship with them, or my son does. And that's very exciting for him and me. And my grandmother that did transition, which is my maternal grandmother, at least he did get to experience her, you know what I'm saying, in general. As opposed to, like, if I had my son right now, he would have never known his great-grandmother, his maternal great-grandmother, you know? So, you know, I'm just glad. I'm glad that I did have him young. And I couldn't imagine doing what I did in my 20s and my 30s. Like having a newborn in your 30s. Like, I'm sure you'd be fine. Like, I'm sure you'd be financially sound, but it's just like the fact that, oh my God, like, I'm 30 doing this. Like, my knees be popping and stuff, like, right now. Back be hurting right now. I could imagine pushing right now. Yeah. Glad I did that in my early 20s. And I actually don't think I want to do it again. I'd have to have a really good husband, y'all. I'd have to have a really good husband to do it again. Because, yeah, in my 30s, I'm not sold on it. Bookie butts. But, yeah, overall, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my experience. I'm thankful being a young parent. And I'm thankful that I'm gang. So if you're a young mom again, make sure you put a wine glass in the comments if you gang. That's if you had a baby, 21 and under. Gang. Now it's to the wind down. Thank you so much for listening. We are to the wind down. Okay, we're doing a little bit different now. All right. So in here, I have a bunch of topics, and I'm just going to pick from one, and I'll answer this question, whatever question is in here. Let's see. Let me pick a good one. This is a good one. Is this a good one? Let's see. What's the question? What is your favorite line from The Grinch? My favorite line from The Grinch is, I can't miss that again. Either that one or your hair looks fabulous. I love that. That's my favorite. Okay, that's so fun. How cute. All right. So now we're to Let That Shit Go. And Let That Shit Go is the part of the show where I release something that no longer serves me. And these few moments, I hope that you're reflecting also and something that you can let go. Because right now, we're letting that shit go. Today, I would like to let go of analysis paralysis. Getting back into the show, doing the things that I'm doing. I have been in my head about so many great things that for the girls, and I'll grab the wine, that I just been stuck. But you know what? I'm going to just try. Who cares? Just try. And so today, I'm letting that shit go. Let that shit go. It don't serve me. And you know, if you let that shit go, you know you got to drink to that. So I'll drink to that is the part of the show where we raise our glasses to being the most audacious women the planet has seen. As you reflect on what you're raising your glass to, I will share with you what I'd like to celebrate. I'd like to celebrate that officially For the Girls is a 501c3. You know, the story about that is really quick, is that so many people were speaking so negatively over it, saying that, you know, it would take months for us to get approved. We got approved in 10 days. God is still God, and God is still moving mountains, and God has your name in rooms that you never thought he'd have your name in, okay? Rooms that you're not even thinking of right now. So let God be God and let people be people, because that's all they know how to do is be people. That's why God is God. So I'm wishing you more celebratory moments, peace, and prosperity. Again, my name is Kirsten Deion, KirstenDeion, on all social media platforms. I am so thankful that you were here joining me today. Could have been anywhere else, but you was right here with me today. So let's have a toast real quick. Cheers to womanhood, motherhood, and every hood in between. Until next time, I'll grab the wine.